NBCC uses a comprehensive process for examination development and maintenance. Let's explore the details of this process. NBCC believes that for a profession with a clear, defined, shared body of knowledge and standards for training or professional development, a standardized assessment for content knowledge is a suitable way to demonstrate readiness for safe and effective practice. NBCC uses a pool of qualified subject matter experts, or SMEs, who have earned the NCC credential and are experienced in the profession. SMEs include both practicing counselors and counselor educators from across the country with different backgrounds, education, and demographics. These SMEs serve as the lifeline for all NBCC examinations. The work analysis process uses mixed methods to gather both qualitative and quantitative data about the behaviors, knowledge, skills, abilities, and judgments of practicing counselors. Counselors from all over the country provide input about their experiences and the minimum requirements to be successful in the profession. NBCC gathers data through interviews, focus groups, and a validation survey. Once the baseline work behaviors and required knowledge for safe and competent practice are established, SMEs work together to determine how the relevant content should be distributed in the examination blueprint. They also decide what proportion of the examination will assess each content area, how many questions should be on the examination, the format of the examination, and how long candidates have to complete the examination. NBCC uses specially trained SMEs as item writers for all examinations. These individuals are trained on best practices in writing quality items for high-stakes examinations and are required to submit sample items to be evaluated before they are selected for their role. Item writers are selected from across the country to reflect the different backgrounds and practices in the profession. Once drafts of items are generated, a panel of SMEs review the drafts of items to make sure the content is appropriate for a minimally qualified candidate, is relevant to the profession, adheres to psychometric best practices, and is not influenced by construct irrelevant factors. All examination items are field tested prior to being counted toward candidate scores. Field testing involves including items on an examination to gather preliminary data on their performance in order to evaluate their statistical properties. Items that do not perform up to standards are returned to item writers for edits and improvements. Field test items are analyzed to ensure they are being perceived by candidates in the intended manner. Psychometricians evaluate the statistical properties of the items, the performance of answer options, and the alignment to content areas in determining whether or not the item is suitable for the examination and can be added as an operational item to the test bank. Before every examination form is published, a qualified panel of SMEs is gathered to review the form in its entirety. Examination items are reviewed to ensure there is no outdated content, redundant content, or enemy items, meaning items that can provide clues to correct answers. The form is evaluated to ensure that it matches the test blueprint and has the desired level of difficulty. Standard setting is the process of establishing a passing point or cut score on an examination form. NBCC utilizes multiple methods, including the industry standard modified Angoff process, to review the content holistically and at the item level. SMEs make judgments on each item, and statistical processes are utilized to determine a defensible passing point. Once the test content has been written and reviewed and the cut score has been established, the test is circulated to candidates. Performance is monitored and additional data is gathered through operational testing. New test forms are released on regular schedules for different examinations to ensure that candidates who need to retest get a new version of the examination. Test form performance is evaluated against historical forms of the examination to ensure there are no irregularities or abnormalities impacting candidate experience. NBCC test forms are all created through standardized procedures, and the expectation is that all exam forms will perform similarly. Form analysis allows us to ensure equivalence across forms. NBCC utilizes multiple versions of each examination simultaneously in order to enhance test security and reduce item exposure. Because each test form has a different selection of items, the relative difficulty of each form may vary. The passing point of each test score is aligned through statistical equating procedures to ensure that candidates are held to a comparable standard no matter what test form they receive. Candidates receive their score reports within 6 to 8 weeks, often sooner. Candidates will be able to see their examination performance compared to the passing point if applicable. Score reports will also indicate domain level scores. Candidates who are unsuccessful and need to retest are encouraged to study all areas on the examination before retesting, but domain information can be useful to consider. Item performance, test form performance, and the overall quality of the item bank are regularly audited to ensure they meet our high standards. Regular auditing allows us to identify any concerns and remedy them in a timely manner. Candidates are also able to file appeals if they have concerns about the test content or their administration experience. Appeals are carefully considered, and any content issues are addressed for future testing.